This all began just a few months ago, and I still live in the same house where it happened. Under my bed, there's an outlet I use to charge my phone. I always place my phone on the ledge above my bed before I sleep, using it as an alarm clock. One Wednesday night in April, I was startled awake by the blaring sound of my phone's alarm. But something wasn't right. It was still pitch black outside. When I checked my real alarm clock on my desk, it was exactly 3 in the morning. Confused, I looked at the phone alarm. It was titled down. I never set that. Thinking maybe I did it by accident, I turned it off and went back to sleep. The next night, it happened again. This time at 2 in the morning. Another blaring alarm, this one titled beneath. Now I was sure someone was messing with me. My first guess? My little brother. The next morning, I told my dad to tell him to cut it out. It was ruining my sleep. But my brother swore he had nothing to do with it. I could tell he was serious, so that night, I locked my phone with a password and wrote it down on a sticky note just in case I forgot. I hid the note behind my bed on the wall. I also double-checked the alarms. Only one was set. For 7, I fell asleep thinking I had solved the problem. But at 1 a.m., I was jolted awake again. Another alarm. Another creepy title THE. I was officially freaked out. I turned off the phone completely the next day, thinking someone had hacked into it. That night, I didn't even use my phone as an alarm. I relied on my regular alarm clock instead, but when I woke up again to an ear-piercing sound in total darkness, my alarm clock was off. My phone, which I had turned off, was back on the ledge, and the sound it made wasn't a ringtone. It was some distorted screaming. I quickly turned off the sound. My phone was at 10% battery. So I reached under my bed to grab the charger, but it wasn't there. Then it hit me. The alarm spelled out a sentence, down beneath the bed. My heart dropped. I tried to pull my arm out from under the bed, but I was too late. A cold hand grabbed my wrist and squeezed tightly. I screamed louder than I ever have in my life. I heard my parents jump out of bed and race to my room. My dad kicked open the door with a baseball bat in his hand. He saw what was happening and dropped to the floor, reaching under the bed. A struggle followed. Then a sickening thud. My dad dragged out a man who had been hiding under my bed for 4 whole days. The police came and took him away. They later told us he was a registered sex offender, arrested more than 10 times before. He was disturbed, dangerous, and clearly got a thrill out of terrorizing people. To this day, I still live in that room. But I never charge my phone under my bed anymore. The scariest thing that ever happened to me didn't even happen to me. It happened to my best friend, Nate. We talked every single day. But then, one day, he just vanished. No texts. No calls. Nothing. Concerned, I walked the 1 block over to his place. His car was there, lights were off. I knocked and rang the bell, no answer. Something felt off, but I told myself maybe he just needed space. That night, my phone lit up, FaceTime call from an unknown number. I cautiously answered, keeping the camera aimed away from my face, and then I saw Nate. Relieved, I turned the camera to show my face, but something was wrong. His eyes looked sunken, his face pale and paranoid. He wasn't in his house. It looked like some rundown room I didn't recognize. I asked where he was. "I'm fine," he said. "I'm at home." A lie. I asked whose phone he was using. Long pause. Just a blank stare, then finally, my uncle's. Before I could respond, he suddenly said, "Can you lend me $5,000? I swear I'll pay you back." At first, I laughed. I thought it was a joke. But he didn't laugh back. His expression was dead serious. Almost desperate. "What the hell, Nate?" I asked. Silence again. Just that cold stare. Then he said, "I have to go," and the call ended. The next morning, I rushed to his house again. No answer. Not even after 5 rings of the doorbell. That night, another FaceTime from another unknown number. It was him again, but worse, hair messy. Cut on his forehead. Bags under his eyes. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. He kept pleading for $5,000 to be sent to some random address. I kept saying no until he muttered the words that haunt me to this day. "Come on. Don't point a gun at my back." He said it quietly, nervously, and then I saw it, a twitch of his left eye. A wink. The call cut. My heart dropped, but somehow I remembered the address he gave. I called the cops immediately. They found the house, an old, decaying building in a desolate part of town. And in the basement, they found Nate, beaten. Barely breathing. But alive. He doesn't talk about it much, but he said he was walking home when everything went black. Next thing he knew, he woke up in a dark basement, trapped. I still don't know how he got the phone or how he managed to warn me. But I do know this, that FaceTime call saved his life. In the winter of 2015, deep in the countryside, a young woman was caring for her elderly, ill grandmother in a remote farmhouse. The day had been calm and uneventful until the quiet was broken by a chilling scream. The young woman, whose name remains anonymous, had been taking a nap when she was startled awake by frantic, piercing cries echoing through the house. Panicked, she rushed down the creaky hallway to her grandmother's bedroom. What she found would chill her to the core. Her grandmother, normally composed and calm, was curled up under the bedsheets like a frightened child. She trembled uncontrollably, whispering incoherently at first, desperate to understand what had happened. The young woman gently shook her grandmother to bring her back to reality. After several moments, the old woman finally looked up, eyes wide with fear. There was someone at the door, she whispered. A red figure standing there, watching me. Her voice cracked with terror. The grandmother, now sitting upright and clutching her hands, continued her horrifying account. It was Satan, she said. He was right there, by the door. I know what I saw. She insisted she had never hallucinated before and was certain the red, horned figure wasn't a dream or trick of the mind. It was real. To this day, the young woman has never forgotten the fear in her grandmother's eyes or the detail in her voice. No logical explanation was ever found. Was it a vision from another realm? A demonic visit? Or a glimpse into something far darker than we can comprehend? The farmhouse remains quiet and watching. Have you ever seen something so terrifying it made you question reality itself? A 76-year-old retired teacher walked into a hospital with a haunting claim. Strange, distorted faces were floating in front of her. But doctors quickly discovered she wasn't losing her mind. The woman described seeing bizarre faces hovering in the air, large teeth, exaggerated eyes and ears, and heads shaped like footballs. They weren't just strange, they were disturbing, worried, and desperate. Her family even consulted a priest. An exorcism was on the table. Doctors ran several tests. Was it an infection? A reaction to medication? Nope. Everything came back clean. No fevers. No toxins. No psychological breakdown. She was completely sane and still seeing horrifying visions. She even drew what she saw, gruesome faces with grotesque features. The images matched her descriptions perfectly, eerie, elongated heads with haunting expressions. It wasn't demonic, but it was definitely real, at least to her. After digging deeper, doctors diagnosed her with Charles Bonnet syndrome, a rare condition that causes vivid visual hallucinations in people who have lost some or all of their eyesight. The brain, starved of visual input, starts creating images of its own. It fills in the blanks, often with unsettling results. These hallucinations can include anything from small people and animals to bright, swirling shapes or terrifying faces. Like the one she saw, the key difference: they're only visual. No sounds. No touch. Just pure, silent horror. This teacher wasn't possessed. She wasn't insane. Her brain was simply trying to make sense of a world it could no longer clearly see, and in doing so, it created something horrifying. Sometimes, the scariest thing isn't the supernatural. It's the mind itself.